Thank you. Well, I'm a little bit in the unknown, but that's a fine place to be. And I think I like to start with a 10-minute meditation. And I am not going to, let me change my view. I mean, meditate however it works for you. But for those folks, if we have a few or any who don't meditate, it's just an opportunity to be quiet and for 10 minutes to not do anything, which actually is going to fit into my talk, which would be a perfect uh, piece of my talk, which part of it's going to be like aimlessness. Um, so yeah, just to be quiet and see, and it's not wrong if you have thoughts coming in, that's fine. Just be with them, but try if you can not to hang on to them. But if you can't, if you hang on to them, hang on to them. Um, But if you're at all able not to do anything else, it's good to close your eyes, sit up straight. Um, and I'll put a timer on so I know, and I might even, I use, I use Insight Timer. Some of you know that, and it has a little bell. Um, but just give me 1 second. I want to change the time to 10 minutes. Save it. Okay, so, you know, um, let's just sit. Some people sit with their hands out. I was in a training where I hold my belly, which is I still don't fully understand that training. Um, but it's to be present to the energy within your belly center. But whatever works for you, we'll start now. I don't know if you could hear, let's see, the bell. Um, Thank you. Hmm. Sitting is not the easiest thing for me, not at all. I want to welcome Tiffany, who just arrived during the meditation. And I want to start with a prayer for the 67 people who needlessly or surprised or just weren't prepared to die, who died, I think it was last night, in the airplane and helicopter crash over Washington, D.C. Hmm. Okay, well, I will start. That's okay. I was looking at freedom. So this talk may have maybe a little wobbly, but I think it's going to come together. And I want to say at the start of the talk or presentation or whatever you want to call it, that I have a commitment. And my commitment is that all life is honored, respected, safe, and free. And I developed that in a program called Landmark Worldwide. And it took me a year to come to that. It's sort of like my driving belief. I don't always succeed at it. Right now, I have a cat locked in my bedroom because he has feline AIDS. And I can't let, and I have other cats in the living room. I live in an apartment and I can't let him out. So he's safe, but I don't think he's free. And it's really been bothering me. I think I'm going to let him out soon, just let him uh, back outside. He was a little bit of a wreck when I got him. He was bloody. Um, Feline AIDS, they just call it that. It just means your immune system is weak. And but you can't pass it on. So I can't let him with the other cats. So it's hard to be safe and free. And I think that's the same issue around our prison system, our criminal justice system. You know, we want to be safe and we want to be free and honored and respected as well. I mean, are we safe that our new president let out 1,500, right? 1,500 people that stormed the Capitol. On one hand, I'm sure the families of those people are grateful, no doubt. I'm sure they're grateful. So there's this fine line, and I don't know how to balance it. Like I feel bad about this cat that's locked in the bedroom because he has nobody. And I'm thinking I'm going to feel bad when I let him out too. I am trying to find him a home, but I haven't been very successful. One of my cats is fighting me now. Um, sorry, he was pulling this little cord. He's the speaker. Um, but I looked up, first I started with freedom and, well, you don't know. And I did what I asked Chat GPT what freedom, and then it said it's the ability to act, think, speak without unnecessary or unjust restrictions or external control. And it can take many forms: personal freedom, political freedom, social freedom, economic freedom, inner freedom. When I was incarcerated many, many years ago, as I was a teenager, I started to realize how important inner freedom was and how chasing after things looked like not a fruitful way to go. All that to say, I'm still chasing after things, but it was a great contemplation. Yeah, it was a great opportunity for me to have that time. Because before that, I didn't do much thinking at all. I just stole people's cars and broke into my father's store, and it wasn't much thinking. And I didn't realize how much I was hurting myself and hurting others. I really, it's hard to imagine. I mean, I was only 16, 17, but I was clueless. I really, hard to imagine. Hmm. So being incarcerated was a good thing for me, even though I didn't think so at the time. And I'm still mixed about abolition, abolition of, like, shut down all prisons. I don't know. It'd be scary. I'd like to hear Lawrence's opinion on that, and other people's, and notes, and anybody who's been incarcerated, who knows who those who we are. And it's, yeah, I was about to say who those people are. It's who we are. And that's the talk that I'm going to launch into a little gradually. But I still have it as those people. I'm going into a prison tomorrow, and I'm a little mixed about it. I have it that, especially in Texas, where I am, it's not a fun place. I don't think it's fun anywhere, but it's especially not fun. But I'm going in with a group of people that have been in a special program. I mean, I'm going to meet people, incarcerated people who are in a special program and who have less than 2 years, I believe, to get out. So they're in a more joyful space. So I was looking through this book called The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. And I latched onto chapter 19, which is called The Three Doors of Liberation, because I latched onto that word, liberation. And I'm going to read a little bit from the book. So the three doors, the first door is emptiness. And it's called shunyata. And the second door is signlessness. It's a strange concept, signlessness. And that is called animita. And the third door is aimlessness. And that is called apranihita. And I'll tell you a little bit about what Thich Nhat Hanh says about these. And that they're powerful, and they're really challenging to grasp, but we'll do one at a time. Emptiness. So Thich Nhat Hanh says, to be emptiness, you have to be empty of something. So he says, a bowl is empty of soup. We were talking about soup, and we are empty of a separate, independent self. We cannot be ourselves alone. We can only interbe with everything else in the cosmos. So I am so hooked into that I am this separate person. I could hardly imagine that I'm hooked into everything in the cosmos, that those people I'm going to see tomorrow are me. I just, I don't know if I could really get that. I don't know if I could get any of you or me. But that's what Thich Nhat Hanh is saying in this, that this is a shell, this body. And yeah, there's this emptiness. He says, and I like his interpretation. It really works for me. It's the interbeing. It's the interdependent co-arising. And I'm not sure where other Buddhists how they capture this or to what degree, but I really like this, that he says, looking deeply, we see that the flower is made of non-flower elements: light, space, clouds, earth, and consciousness. It is empty of a separate, independent self. In the Diamond Sutra, we are taught that a human being is not independent of other species. So to protect humans, we have to protect the non-human species. If we pollute the water and air, the vegetables and minerals and things that we thought were outside of ourselves in order to, I said it wrong, if we pollute the water and air, the vegetables and minerals, we destroy ourselves. We have to learn to see ourselves in things that we thought were outside of ourselves in order to dissolve false boundaries. But that is so challenging, for me anyway. Wow. Okay, so that's the first door. That's the first door. It's like we are, and it's not just animate things, living things. We are the food, and it talks about every time we look at a plate of food, we contemplate the impermanent non-self nature of food. This is a deep practice because it can help us see interdependent co-arising. The one who eats and the food that are eaten are both by nature empty. It's like, and he says this too, which I really like. We observe our body and see all the causes and conditions that have brought it to be: our parents, our country, the air, and even future generations. We go beyond time and space, me and mine, and taste true liberation. Yeah, it's very powerful. Okay, the second door is signlessness. That is a strange one for me. I've never heard that expression. Anamita. So sign means anything that's named, is the way I take it. And he says, until we break through the signs, we cannot touch reality. He's talking about water, and he's talking about water contained in some container. And he says, water is in itself neither square nor round nor solid. When we free ourselves from signs, we could enter the heart of reality. But until we could see the ocean and the sky, we are still caught by signs. So he's saying everything is intermixed. The greatest relief is when we break through the barriers of signs and touch the world of signlessness. And he calls that nirvana. If you think that water is only water, that it cannot be the sun, the earth, or the flower, you are not correct. When you can see that the water is the sun, the earth, and the flower, that just by looking at the sun or the earth, you can see the water. This is the signlessness of signs. An organic gardener who looks at a banana peel, dead leaves, or rotting branches can see flowers, fruit, and vegetables in them. Yeah, it's a powerful practice. And I want to read this part that I really like. Politicians, economists, and educators need to practice signlessness. We put many young men in jail, but if we If we meditate on signlessness, we will discover where their violence comes from. What is taught at our schools? Why should we lay all the blame at the feet of the young people? Young people harm themselves and others because life has no meaning for them. If we continue to live the way we do and organize society the way we do, we will continue to produce so many thousands of young people who will need to be imprisoned. Silencelessness is not just an idea. When we look deeply into our children, we see all the elements that have produced them. They are the way they are because our culture, economy, society, and we ourselves are the way we are. We can't simply blame our children when things go wrong. Many causes and conditions have contributed. When we know how to transform ourselves and our society, our children will transform also. And he goes on to say, when we go beyond signs, we enter the world of no fear and no blame. We see that Buddha, Jesus, and all of our spiritual ancestors have not died. The Buddha cannot be confined to 2,600 years ago. The flower cannot be limited to its brief manifestation. Everything manifests by means of signs. If we get caught by the signs, we become afraid of losing that particular manifestation. Yeah, it's a powerful teaching. And it's also that we don't die. We go on in a different form because we're part of this universe. The third door of liberation is aimlessness. And that's what I was saying about sitting. However you sit is fine. And he calls that apranihita. There is nothing to do, nothing to realize, no program, no agenda. This is the Buddhist teaching about eschatology, which I looked up as looking at the soul and death. And does a rose have to do something? No, the purpose of a rose is to be a rose. Your purpose is to be yourself. You don't have to run anywhere to become someone else. You are wonderful just as you are. The teaching of the Buddha allows us to enjoy ourselves, the blue sky, and everything that is refreshing and healing in the present moment. There is no need to put anything in front of us and run after it. We already have everything we are looking for, everything we want to become. We're already a Buddha. So why not just take the hand of another Buddha and practice walking meditation? I mean, it's so hard for me to go with this because we're such, we judge ourselves. I notice people have better than me. The Heart Sutra says there's nothing to attain. We meditate not to attain enlightenment because enlightenment is already in us. We don't have to search anywhere. We don't need a purpose or a goal. In aimlessness, we see that we do not lack anything, that we already are what we want to become, and our striving just comes to a halt. And he goes on to say, I want to read this part. He said, and Thich Nhat Hanh died, I think it's been 2 years. Yeah, we just had a ceremony. It's been 2 years. But he's saying, when he wrote this, he said, someone asked me, aren't you worried about the state of the world? I allowed myself to breathe. And then I said, what is most important is not to allow your anxiety about what happens in the world to fill your heart. If your heart is filled with anxiety, you will get sick and you will not be able to help. There are wars, big and small, in many places, and that can cause us to lose our peace. Anxiety is the illness of our age. We worry about ourselves, our family, our friends, our work, and the state of the world. If we allow worry to fill our hearts, sooner or later we will get sick. Yes, there is tremendous suffering all over the world, but knowing this need not paralyze us. If we practice mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful sitting, and working in mindfulness, we try our best to help, and we can have peace in our hearts. Worrying does not accomplish anything. We who have been fortunate enough to encounter the practice of mindfulness have a responsibility to bring peace and joy into our lives. I love that. Even though not everything in our body, mind, or environment is exactly the way we would like. I want to read that one more time. We who have been fortunate enough to encounter the practice of mindfulness have a responsibility to bring peace and joy into our own lives, even though not everything in our body, mind, or environment is exactly as we would like. Without happiness, we cannot be a refuge for others. Ask yourself, what am I waiting for to make me happy? Why am I not happy right now? We don't need to become anything else. We don't need to perform some particular act. We only need to be happy in the present moment, and we can be of service to those we love and to our whole society. Aimlessness is stopping and realizing the happiness that is already available. If someone asks us how long he has to practice in order to be happy, we can tell him that he can be happy right now. The practice of apranahita, aimlessness, is the practice of freedom. So just getting back a little bit to when I was incarcerated, I learned some great lessons. It was one thing I learned, and I'm sure Lawrence would appreciate this, the importance of knowledge. During one of the shakedowns, and if people don't know what a shakedown is, Newt and Lawrence can tell you. During one of the shakedowns, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just was really mad because they throw you stuff all over the place. They're searching for contraband. And I did a terrible thing. I cut my wrist because I said I was going to show you and I didn't know how else to. But after that lesson, that was a big lesson. I don't think it was after, but it really reinforced that I was going to become smart. I only had a year of high school. Today I have 3 degrees. But at that time, I had dropped out of high school. But I saw that they couldn't take away what I knew. So that became liberation to me. And also I wanted to become a writer. So I felt like I had to know a lot. I can't even remember half the books I read. I read a lot. And it was freedom for me. Yeah, I started seeing freedom was a mental thing. Um, and coming back to the people that President Trump let out, I don't want to get political, but how do we practice to be safety and freedom? All life is honored, respected, safe, and free. It's a lot of holding. Honored, respected, safe, and free. Are people incarcerated free? That's why I think this is a wonderful group. It's a very powerful group because it tells people inside that you can be free. And it reminds people outside you can also be free. Thank you. So now, do we open it for questions? Do you take it?